Hey guys, yeah, we are not seeing quite as much in Baton Rouge. We're getting a little bit of kind of breezy winds, but we're not seeing really anything like what we're seeing over toward where you guys are in the New Orleans area now, especially just off to the west of New Orleans. In fact, it's really something when I show you the radar in a bit to see an eye of a hurricane about 20 miles away from the city of New Orleans and of course right over some populated areas. One thing that I wanted to touch on really quickly is the rainfall totals that we are seeing right now. And so you can see that Slidell has registered about 4 inches. And actually we're just hearing from the National Hurricane Center. They have put up our chat that we've been looking at. As we tell you, we kind of contact them, they contact us, and they do a great job of keeping everyone informed as far as the meteorologists go during hurricanes and other weather events too. But they have updated us that around Hickory and Pearl River, we've gotten a rain total of about 4.5 inches. And it does look like this will be an issue as we get into the next several hours. We're going to be watching for these higher rainfall totals to start coming in. However, we are seeing that kind of on the southern edge of the storm, it is starting to decrease a little bit. So around Houma and Thibodaux, we've been seeing some of the rain calming down just a bit. Now, some of these, of course, off to the south, we've been saying you can disregard those. There have been more rain totals, higher rain totals than what you're actually seeing here. But you've seen this big cluster, and this, of course, is partially higher because we did see, of course, that cluster with the tornado warnings that we were getting just a little while ago. So also spinning up those tornadoes. Give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up my radar here because it went down just for a second. And we are going to be seeing, again, that kind of area with the less rain starting to move a little bit farther north. Although the models still have very high rain totals, and we know that these sort of storms can really bring a lot of rain in just one band in a short amount of time. So that's something we're going to have to kind of transition and start watching. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to pull it up here. And we will see that as we get into the next several hours, but it's kind of interesting also to see that it is a little bit lighter on the southern edge. So here we go. Let me pull it up and I'll show you our radar right now. And this is where we're seeing our rain totals, and I'm going to register some of them here so you can see the rainfall rates. As you know, in New Orleans, rainfall rates are a big deal. We talk about that sometimes with just afternoon thunderstorms, but look at this, the eye of the storm just off, just by a few miles. In fact, we can measure it here. I just did. It's near Boutte right now, so you can see that that's about 20 miles roughly from the city of New Orleans, and even less if you look at parts of Jefferson Parish like Kenner and Metairie, considered kind of right there in the metro area. So right now you can see where the heaviest bands are. A lot of heavy rain right here around Laplace, and in fact anything in the green blinking boxes, if you look closely, all of that's flash flood warnings. So we have these going all across the metro area and other spots, but I did want to just sample some of these areas to give you an idea of how fast the rain is coming down. And again, it's a good thing. Now, radar registers tropical rains a little bit differently, so it could be a bit heavier than this, but even going to some of the thickest parts and the darkest parts of the reds here on the radar, you can see it's about 1 to 2 or so inches per hour. But that is something we're going to have to kind of transition into seeing with these heavier bands getting into the next few hours. And now I'm going to zoom out a little bit and we'll start to see where else the rain is going on. Of course, if you're on the North Shore, some of those have been some of the highest totals that we're actually seeing, as I showed you on that map. And so here around Slidell and some of our Lacombe spots right along the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain, getting some heavy rain bands right now too. Looking again at those wind gusts, I just wanted to show you that everyone's talking about the winds in New Orleans, different things happening with windows and so forth. I mean, it's a steady, sustained 56-mile-per-hour winds at the Kenner air front, and right now the lakefront's saying less, but could easily be higher than that. Look at Shell Beach, all these areas on the North Shore now starting to feel the winds pick up a little bit, gusting up to 50 to 60 miles per hour for some of our North Shore spots. And again, just kind of looking at the update on Ida, it is weakening. It is happening, and we are expecting it to continue to weaken, but it's just taking time. So 120-mile-per-hour winds, kind of crazy to think that that's an improvement from earlier this morning, of course, but we did have 150-mile-per-hour winds at landfall. That's come down. Still officially a Category 3 major hurricane, but we're going to see those winds continuing to decrease and pressure coming up, thankfully. Still officially moving northwest, although as we've been seeing it move back and forth just a little bit as we got into maybe the past couple of hours, really, when it started moving just a little bit more northerly instead of northwesterly.